Hi, John Kuvakas here. Today we're going to take a second look at Brooklyn's 1948 Ford V8 station wagon. Everybody else would call this a Woody. Now, Woodies were built, by the time we got to the period after the war, they were built in Ford's Iron Mountain facility in Michigan. They designed in 1942. Production was interrupted because of the war, resumed again in 46. In 47, we had a refreshed design. It looked a little newer. It was the last of the cars that were made during Henry Ford's lifetime. He died in April of 1947. But few people know there was also the last series of cars that was made by Ford that had an optional crank start. There was a hole down in the bottom of the grille, and the lug wrench would fit into that hole. And if you felt like you needed to crank start the car, you could be able to do it manually. So it was also the first start, the first cars made in 1948 that had the ignition key on the steering column and had an interlock. Now that was a one-year only thing. They went to the dashboard after that, but Ford was kind of ahead of their time on this. So it had an L-head V8 produced somewhere around 100 horsepower or so, 239 cubic inches. Top speed was only 83 miles an hour, but you didn't buy these cars to go top speed. You bought these cars to carry things, and you know, by then they started to become status symbols, the high-end things. So they were made from lumber that was cut down in the Michigan forest in the area around the Iron Mountain facility. The lumber was milled right there in the plant, and they made the body side panels on it, the roof panels, the interior roof panels, the door panels inside. All this stuff was made out of this highly polished wood. And matter of fact, a lot of the interior was made out of wood. And ironically, the dashboard was made out of metal, but they gave that a simulated wood finish. So they made 8,912 of these in 1948. The MSRP was just over $1,900 or so. And it was a success for Ford, and Brooklyn's given us this 143rd model of it. So let's take a look at it here. Get it out of the box, put it on the turntable. Okay, so the color is gray. There wasn't a very large color palette for these, but the color here is very accurate. They've done a great job on the wood trim, and you have to see it in person to see that they've got some really great grain work going on here. Now, it's fairly light around the frames and dark on the insert. There are a lot of variations of the colors of the wood trim out there. I'll show you a couple of them. It's hard to know exactly what came from the factory, but this looks pretty good according to the actual pictures that I've seen. There's nice trim on the sides. It's not foil, it's not scraped. This is actually wire trim that they put in. It looks really good. It's bright. The chrome is neat. The grille is very well done. The hood ornament is great. They've got the parking lights there. The chrome is lustrous, it's deep. Around the back of the car, the taillights are very well picked out. The bumper, again, is a very accurate rendition of what the bumpers look like. The wheels, you know, I got to tell you something. The closer I look at Brooklyn's wheels recently, the better they look. These are really good replicas of the full-size wheel. According, it even has the wood trim, the body color trim on the inner ring of the wheel. So they've done a great job on that. Looking in the interior, they've got the dash is pretty well picked out. Steering wheel is a great replica of the full-size steering wheel. The interior could use a little bit more detail, but you know, when this is sitting on your shelf, you wouldn't be looking at the interior to begin with. But you know, it's an accurate, it's just a nicely rendered model. And when we get into some of these Brooklyns that have been around for a little while, the great advantage to them is the price. This is a white metal model that is nicely featured with a lot of great detail. And if you look on their website, it's somewhere right around $200 or so. It's a really great buy on a white metal model. So If you don't have it in your collection, let me recommend it. It's a nice looking Woody. It would look great sitting next to anybody else's Woody. If you've got it already, go over to your shelf and take another look at it, because I'm sure you're going to see things that you appreciate in it. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me. I'll be back to you real soon sometime.